Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about just my April Fool's video process. So yeah, I basically gave like a rough outline to Matt, um, and that rough outline was like, um, talk about the film Michael if you've seen it. If not, you can say something. Like I gave a bunch of different options. Right? There's like an entire tree of like what he could have done that would have accounted for any potential situation or convenience or whatever. I had only started thinking about the fucking April Fool's video about a week before April 1st. Because before that point, I was so fucking busy with the Oscar shit. And I didn't know if I would have time to make an April Fool's video. And if I did, I didn't know if it would be like a shit post where like that it'd take me 2 seconds or not. Right. Some of them have been more high effort than others, obviously. Um, but I was like, you know what? I think I could do one with a cameo appearance in it and like a back and forth. I think I could still do that. And so I was like, who could I get that would be good to be at an April Fool's video? And I was like, okay, yeah, like this would be fun. And I knew from well before that I would like to do like a Michael parody. The reason why is because the original release date for Michael, the Jackson movie, was supposed to be April 1st. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, I should do an April Fool's video. They cowered it out. They pussed out, changed it to like April 20 something because the Mario movie was April 1st. And they're like, we don't want to compete with that. So they delayed it, but whatever. I decided like, okay, well, maybe I can still do this. I almost thought about changing the concept. And then I was like, okay, I'll before I do anything, I'll watch the film Michael from 1996 because I wanted it to be a fake. Like I knew that there was a film named Michael from 1996. So I like as soon as I decided that I was even going to be doing April Fool's video, I was just like, okay, I'll watch the film Michael and see what inspiration comes from that. And I wrote down a bunch of notes for Michael. There were a bunch of fucking clips I wanted to include. And I knew that I would want Tyrone to be just doing like a shitposty review of it. And then, it would cut to like a Matt Johnson interview. And they would have an interaction and then maybe they would like argue over something. And then the call gets cut off in the style of the other April Fool's videos or whatever. And so the outline that I gave Matt was literally like, okay, you act like you're, answering a call, talk about the film Michael, your relationship with it or whatever, be as serious or unserious as you want to be. And then I said like, just for the beats of what I'm going to be editing around, I'll need you to like act as though Tyrone's character said something that you disagree with. And I was in the notes I gave him, I like was trying to get more of like a even an exaggerated like crying or screaming, because I love those moments from Matt Johnson performances where he's like, please, like that, like the high energy ones are just so much fun to me. But I also put in the notes like, yeah, no pressure, because more than anything else, this needs to be convenient for you, because I just, I understand it's a favor. And what if you have to sneak for a friend? Oh! And yeah, so given the fact that he's busy like directing other projects right now, So he was like on the way somewhere, and I'm not going to be specific about it. And so literally like, yeah, like 48 hours after I, you know, he agreed to it and I sent him that outline, he sent me the footage, and then from that footage I watched it. By the time he had recorded it, I had already written the first part of the Tyrone thing where he's reviewing the film Michael, so before the interview. And at that point I realized, like, if I wanted to include every clip of Michael that I had written down in my notes, or everything about the movie that I wanted to like make fun of or say, it was going to be way too long. And, you know, Tyrone's a paid actor. It was going to be way too expensive. I'm editing the whole thing. I had no time to make this fucking one. And so I was like, okay, after I started talking about like the old woman and her death, I was like, you know what? It's kind of funny if we leave it at that and don't give any context for anything else in the film. Like that makes it more of a shit post, which is fun. And then yeah, I gave Tyrone a bunch of like single sentence like things that I could edit in for or like single exclamation things that I could edit into a conversation. And I didn't finalize and send Tyrone's script until I had Matt's footage back, because that's, you know, you build it around that. And then I spent the next like fucking 3 or 4 days editing that non-stop, like absolutely overworking myself, literally like wake up, edit until I have to sleep. To the point where like I literally had company over. Someone was staying with me from out of town, and I was just like, I put on some shows for them on the TV that like I had already basically memorized, so I could keep editing and still be hanging out with them and listening to the show. And I have the show in my head because I've seen it so many times. I was like introducing them to Nathan For You, and they were planning on hanging out for a week, so it's not like I was ignoring them the whole time. And they were aware and comfortable with the fact that I had to work. And then yeah, like it just fucking buzzer beater again. But it was a good fun video, and yeah, the most time consuming part of it was the editing, but it's one of those things where like I didn't know that I was going to mimic like do an effect of one of the characters shooting her. I didn't know I was going to do that until I was in the editing process. I didn't know that I was going to have the sound effects play the entire time until I was editing it. And then I was like, okay, yeah, wouldn't it be funny if the title is doing it to the sound effect and then that happened the entire time? And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to add in Epic Wendy. And then, so like all of those jokes just came from the editing process, which often happens with me, which is why I like to be a part of the editing process, but my arms suck, so I can't as much. Yeah, there weren't any like need for reshoots. If someone wants to create an IMDb page for that short film of mine that I posted on April 1st called Michael Review, then on IMDb, I will have directed a Matt Johnson film. So just letting you know, if somebody wants to do that. Oh yeah, I directed Matt Johnson. In its loosest terms. Technically. Oh yeah, I directed a Nanoland episode. But yeah, other April Fool's projects have been like there's always varying degrees of like how much time I have, how much effort I'm able to put in, how many people are collaborating, how intricate the collaboration is. So The Jean Dielmont one, I told Charlie, like, hey, there's this movie and it's just a woman cleaning her house for 3.5 hours. Can you ad lib, just like do your regular thing, but pretend like there's also aliens or some like shit that's obviously not in the movie? And I knew he was never going to watch this movie. I didn't ask him to watch this movie. That was not the expectation. I knew it was not a Charlie type movie. His taste is not that. Um, and then, oh yeah, and then I thought it would be really funny to get the Jim Can't Swim thing in on it. And so I think I found like their Facebook page and messaged and got information there. I forget how I got their emails. I'm a good sleuth when it comes to getting contact info. And then that entire part for the JCS, narrated by Kizumi, who does the JCS narration. That entire part was just verbatim my writing. So that's an example of a video where like, oh, there's improvisation, but there's also like literally just my writing. But yeah, it depends on the project. And you kind of just have to like let it turn into whatever it needs to be, especially through the editing. The only one where I feel like kind of guilty in terms of like my requests for a cameo appearance, and the cameo appearances are just people who are like happy to participate, you know, doing it for free. Tyrone's a paid actor. The only one I felt kind of guilty about was the one called Worst Remake Ever. I asked for some reshoots from Joel twice, and I felt so guilty the second time because I was like, oh, can you please just give a little bit more of like this type of thing? Because as I was editing it, I realized what it was turning into. Where I was like, oh no, yeah, like there has to be this back and forth. And so I need more of that footage. I can't just keep like, you know, it could have repeated something. But I was like, if possible, if at all possible, you're able to like record more. That's why if you pay attention in that video, in Joel's parts, you'll see that there is different lighting. The lighting changes because he's in a bedroom and there's exterior lighting coming from the window, and they were filmed at different points in the day. And that's because I asked for more footage. And he was a good sport about it. And he probably, like, when I say I feel guilty, I don't, like, nothing happened or anything, but I try to make it as convenient and effortless for people as possible. But Joel gave it his all. Joel was like, you know, doing the whole yelling and like actually performing and stuff. So I'm very happy with what he did. I just felt bad that I was asking for reshoots for like a fucking gig that he was doing me a favor for, right? Joel Haver, what are we talking about? Watch the videos. How do you not know which Joel I'm talking about? I said the title of the video. Sorry. Yeah, it's a fun little tradition. Just throwing this out there also. If Tyrone retires, I think that's the end for the April Fool's videos. I don't know how I could do it without him. He's like such a core part of it. And as much as I love doing them, I also will be relieved of the pressure to like create one every year, you know? Things with time constraints, like time sensitive things to post, are always stressful. Like, you know, it would be nice to just like have like an extra week on some things that need an extra week. The April Fool's videos, you can't take an extra week because it needs to be out April 1st, right? Same with the Oscars videos. Anything with like hard time limits are always just so stressful. And I always overwork myself despite, you know, having made so many promises that I wouldn't. I always get trapped in that again on those types of projects. It's kind of interesting though, because like the April Fool's video series, you know, there's so many different cameo appearances, so many people have been a part of it. And I'm wondering, every once in a while I think like, should I get a girl? should I get a woman cameo appearance? Because there's plenty of women that I'm in good contact with that I like. But I'm like posting it on the main channel and I'm like, are they just gonna get harassed? Maybe I should just like not let that bother me. No, yeah, Jenny. I was thinking Jenny at one point. I think my audience at this point, I think my audience is like mostly either lefty or apolitical. I think some right-leaning people in my audience jumped ship when they found out that I wasn't. Which, you know, you're welcome in the audience. I don't mind if there's conservative people in it. I mean, they exist. They're there for sure. I mean, like they're more noticeable in the comment section on the main YouTube channel. For sure. But I mean, like that's the one with 1 million subs, so